Welcome back. Now, 8 days to go before the ANC holds its 55th National Conference, where the party will be electing its new leadership in Nasrec, south of Johannesburg. The party has announced its nominees for the top 6 leadership positions, as well as the 200 nominees from which 80 members of the Executive Committee will be chosen. Now, much has been happening in the build-up to this conference, and central to the events is, of course, the Section 89 report on Phala Phala, which has found that President Cyril Ramaphosa may have violated the Constitution. Now, the ANC has already resolved to vote against the adoption of Section 89 panel, but some ANC members, like Mervyn Dirks, have already indicated that they will vote according to their conscience. Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa is a former Executive Mayor of the city of Tshwane, was also former Executive Health MEC, as well as the coordinator of the ANC's NEC and National Working Committee, and she joins us now virtually for a conversation on these matters. Dr. Ramokgopa, thanks so much for your time and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me, and good morning to viewers.
Now, Dr. Ramokgopa, the ANC led the media on a tour yesterday to give us a sense of your preparedness for next week's conference. So just take us through that, and what are some of the lingering issues that you have as the conference date approaches?
I can assure viewers that it's all systems go. Very early in the morning, we did a tally. We looked at areas to strengthen. And part of what we just need to finalize, it's, for instance, the payment of delegates, those that are coming. We have asked for a nominal contribution to the cost for delegates, but for voting delegates, those who cannot afford, we're meeting them halfway. And the other thing is there will be a complete handover of facility to the ANC as well. And although that will be done by the 14th, but there is scaling down of movement and use of the facility, and we really want to appreciate the cooperation that Nasrec management has had with ourselves, and the various task teams that are busy. There's a task team on transport, there's a task team on accommodation, there's a task team on the policy commissions and commissions at conference. There are various task teams that I must say, and the provinces are also making preparations to bring delegates over. So we are actually all systems go. We also have volunteers, the medics, who consist of nurses and doctors and other support staff. So it is quite exciting. This is also a demonstration of democracy in our organization, and we look forward for an exceptionally very robust, yes, but also very successful 55th National Conference of the ANC.
As you say, Dr. Ramokgopa, robust, and I think that's a good word, and many people expect it to be exactly that. And there have been questions, though, about whether the conference will in fact conclude within the allotted time, or whether there will be a contingency for more time, given what could possibly unfold.
Well, as where we are now, there is no indication for such.
So as it stands right now, those are the dates, and that's when the conference will be hoping to conclude its business in.
Indeed, you'll remember that the 20th is just 5 days before Christmas. So we will really be looking forward for delegates to go home, rest, and be with their families and prepare for the Christmas and the New Year period.
Dr. Ramokgopa, you also touched on the matter of provinces sending their delegates. Now, we know that the ANC in the Western Cape and the Free State, they've been struggling somewhat with those provincial structures, you know, getting those elections off the ground. And then a little while ago, a few weeks ago or a week, we had the ANC in the Free State having two parallel regional meetings. So where are you with regard to those two provinces and their readiness to attend the conference?
The two provinces have actually met the required number of branches that have been allowed, verified, and allowed to attend conference. And those branches, if you'd recall, their nominations have also been included in the nominations that are concluded now. And also they have delegates as well. So we look forward to a smooth attendance of the branches in those provinces as well. You'd recall that 90% of the voting delegates are from branches.
So as we speak this morning, 8 days before that Congress kicks off, are there any lingering court challenges at this point that you are aware of that need to be resolved, Dr. Ramokgopa?
You know, Sakina, the ANC members have decided to recognize their rights within the ANC constitution, and if they are not happy, they access the courts of our land. It's always regrettable if you are taken to court to challenge your decisions, but this is part of the broader democracy in our country. We're working very hard to put measures not to, or that will dissuade our members to go to court when decisions are made. But many of the decisions made have been tested and have been found to stand the rigor of law. There may be here and there court cases, but that is in the business of the organization as well. It has been quite an area that we needed to include and almost consider as a norm, although it is really a small percentage that takes the ANC to court, but one case really creates a huge focus, and we acknowledge that there is one or two cases around the processes leading towards the national conference, but we're not perturbed.
So those are members of the ANC who are bringing case against the organization itself. But OUTA has also this week said that they are opening a case with the NPA, with the police, and of course hoping the NPA will take that forward against the Deputy President David Mabuza. And this on a litany of charges stemming from 2002. And it's mainly, as they say, to do with a land claim saga, which according to retired Judge Willem Heath, cost the country around 35 billion rand. Now, has the ANC deliberated on some of these allegations, or is this something that will still be attended to, given the step-aside rule, how that has been applied, of course, and the contention around it?
Sakina, the ANC is a microcosm of society. We have over 500,000, I think, towards 700,000 members. And as human beings, some may make mistakes, some may commit wrongdoing. So we decided that, we will not be a court of law. If any of our members or anyone believes our members has done wrong, and they are free to raise that, and the due processes must follow, of law must follow. For ourselves internally, we've got the Integrity Committee. We also have a national dispute or disciplinary committee, and we have also disciplinary committees from branch, region, and also at the level of the provinces. And we also have a National Disciplinary Committee, Appeals Committee. So we have those measures in place that we use to subject members to discipline. The 54th conference was very clear and resolute that we must strengthen these measures And this NEC that is about to hand over has done so. So any matter is being processed. And if anyone in the public believes there's a criminal act to answer, they must follow due process like with any other citizen. And from internally, as I said, the Integrity Committee and other measures are in place, and we continue to make sure that they are much more effective. For instance, with the NDC, Ministerial Disciplinary Committee and the Appeals Committee, we have strengthened them during this period of term, and we also have both NEC members and non-NEC members. And with the Integrity Committee is all members and veterans of high esteem, and they have served the movement to the best of their ability.
And of course, no doubt we will hear more, we will talk more about this because SABC will be bringing you wall-to-wall coverage, of course, of this 55th National Congress of the African National Congress. Now, Dr. Ramokgopa, at the special NEC meeting that was held earlier this week, the ANC resolved to vote against the Section 89 report by the panel of experts on the Phala Phala farm matter. Now, there are some ANC members who have said that they will be voting according to their conscience, regardless of the fact that the party said they should toe the party line. So what is the party's position on those who may deviate?
We are leaving that to caucus. There is a caucus that will prepare for the meeting, and every member in the caucus will air their views. There really is no need to be airing your views all over the show. We, also get surprised that members act in such a manner. However, we've allowed the management of the caucus, led by the Chief Whip, Comrade Pemi Majudini, to present what the NEC outcome is, and for members to discuss, and accordingly we will receive report from him.
And perhaps at this point, having you on the show right now, if you could just explain to us the reasoning behind the ANC's ultimate decision that its members should vote against that particular panel report. Because I'm reminded of what happened around the Nkandla saga and the Constitutional Court very scathing of Parliament as a whole, saying that Parliament basically failed in its obligation by not holding the executive, by not holding President Zuma to account at the time. So are you not concerned that in giving that line of order to your members in the National Assembly, that you are again falling foul of what the Constitutional Court was very scathing of?
Thank you very much for that question, Sakina. At that time, Parliament had not put measures in place to hold particularly also the President and also the impeachment process in general in Parliament. So since then, the Parliament, which has the majority of members being the ANC, has put such measures.
Our apologies there. Just lost that signal there to Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa at that very crucial point where she was explaining to us exactly, what the ANC's position and, of course, their thinking is around not falling foul once again as Parliament, at least in terms of their members, of holding the executive to account, because that is part of the role of Parliament, to hold the executive to account. So let's just try again and see if we have a better line there. There we are. Dr. Ramokgopa is back. Dr. Ramokgopa, apologies. You're just going to have to start again on that one, explaining to us whether the ANC is not concerned that you are once again falling foul of your obligation and your duty as parliamentarians, or at least your members who are deployed to Parliament.
I must say, Sakina and viewers, The ANC and Parliament as a collective, since that a court ruling, has put in place measures and processes to hold particularly presidents and those that may face impeachment. So they've put those measures in place. So there has been a response to positively to that court judgment and the areas of weakness that were there in terms of procedures and all that. And these processes that hold the executive, and in this case, the president, accountable, are there. And that's why the panel was set in place. And that's why there is a report which is public, and it's going to be rigorously debated publicly by members of parliament of all political parties. So this is a measure of a system put in place to respond also to that court judgment.
But one could argue, Dr. Ramokgopa, that you are being disingenuous right now because you say that that report will be debated, but you have effectively, as the ANC, already put paid to this process because you know you have the numbers, the majority in the National Assembly. You've already told your members that they should toe the party line and vote against that report. And by doing so, you effectively are putting paid to that parliamentary process that is meant to hold the president to account.
I must say it's just regrettable that this matter is viewed that way. Just to explain that for us, what we are aware of is that this is a very technical matter. You either vote for, you vote against, or you abstain. If you vote for, then you accept the report as is. And there's no vote for subject to X, Y, and Z. So that is maybe the constraint of the process that is there in Parliament. The one thing about the report that many jurists as well and other leaders of society, organizations, including jurists like Matthew Posa, the retired Judge Murphy, Thuli Madonsela, are saying that there are a lot of flaws. So the NEC could not close its ears to that. In addition, the president also informed both the NEC that him and his team have also identified flaws in law and other areas that he would be taking the report on review in a court of law, publicly, not privately, and not secretly. So this is part and parcel of us trying to understand what exactly are the issues. So if there is that element, voting for a report or in support of a report also puts those that have voted for the report also to be answerable, for instance, in court, should the review be successful. So we've taken all measure of efforts into consideration, but this is part and parcel of the process of getting to the bottom of the truth. And indeed, if the president has something to answer to, he is aware that and he has led the process that all members on personal matters where they have to answer, they should answer.
No, Dr.
So
Ramokgopa.
we are not interfering with it.
No, Dr. Ramokgopa. You, as the ANC, are going to make sure that the president does not answer to Parliament. The president, by taking this report on review, that's all good and well. Let him do so. But why is the ANC putting paid to the process in Parliament by voting against the report? Because if the president has nothing to hide, if the president is if he's innocent of all these charges that have been put against him, then he will be vindicated. Surely you have to have faith in the process that it will vindicate him because he is innocent. But why would you then not allow that process to run its course in Parliament? Because again, as the Constitutional Court had indicated, Parliament has an obligation, and even without the Constitutional Court pointing that out, members of Parliament know when they swear that oath, when they take that oath of office, that this is what they are there for, to hold the executive to account. So why can't you just allow that to happen?
Well, it's not that we disallow that to happen. What is taking place is the process of Parliament, Sakina. I think let us all acknowledge that, and let's also allow Parliament to debate the report, and we will also be part and parcel of watching them debate. We will be listening to them, and this is part of holding accountable. And also, it is important that there are other committees in Parliament, like the Ethics Committee, that can take up the issues of ethics. We were informed that there are about 8 institutions that are investigating various aspects. So there is no shielding the president from accounting for any matter whatsoever, and that the accountability can go ahead. I think the only issue is that the report as is seems to be having flaws and difficulties, and let's allow that process as well.
Dr. Ramokgopa, that's where we're going to have to leave it. But thank you so much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you very much. And I also wish viewers well.
Thank you so much. And that, of course, a conversation with ANC NEC member and also a National Working Committee coordinator, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, on ANC matters. And this, of course, just a week before the party's 55th National Conference in Nasrec, south of Johannesburg.